Charge your worth is a scam. Is it just me, or does that phrase sound as abstract as hell? I mean, my hot take is that people who say that either don't know their numbers, or if they do, they don't want to share. Because why is it that whenever a creative or an artist is trying to figure out how to price themselves, people just say, charge your worth? What is that in numbers? Anyway, in this video, I'll be demystifying the confusion with pricing to explain exactly what you need to charge in order to run a profitable photography business. Let's get straight into it. Hello guys, my name is Lize Okoh. I'm a photographer, author, and entrepreneur based in London. One of the biggest struggles I see with photographers is how to price your work. And so I wanted to pull back the curtain in this video to show you how you can create a pricing list that serves your client and also helps you to grow a sustainable business. These aren't random numbers. I'll be going through all the costs and other caveats with you in this video so that you can know exactly what you need to charge in order to run a profitable and sustainable business. When I started photography professionally 8 years ago, I made the same mistakes other photographers do, which is looking at what your competitors and people local to you are charging and build my price based off of that. But soon enough, I realized that if I wanted to do photography full time, that was just not going to cut it. And so I went on to look for education that would help me understand the business aspect of running a creative business. And so what I do now is start with the end goal. How much do I want to earn in a year? And then how much does it actually cost me to run the business? All the operational costs, all the overheads and things as such. And then figure out how I can create a pricing list that is going to enable me to meet my end goal. Now we're going to move into the practical part of this video. So please bring out your pen and paper and let's get started. So let's start by making a profile for the person who will want to create these pricing packages for. Let's say they're a single person, they have no dependents and they work full-time. And so because they work full-time, this sort of means they have only the evenings and the weekends to work on their photography business as a start off. And so let's say they are able to, do 2 sessions a week during the weekends. So let's say in a month, that's 8 sessions in a month. Now, we have 12 months in a year, but of course, everyone needs rest, everyone needs break. They're working a full-time job as well as trying to grow a photography business. So let's say they do sessions 10 months of the year, giving them, those 2 months, those weekends. People have things going on, people travel, people want to chill, people fall ill, unfortunately. So let's say 10 months, they're able to, run their photography, do sessions for their photography business. So when we say 8 sessions per month, multiplied by 10 months in the year, that's 80 sessions in a year. So let's say this person wants to do 80 sessions in a year. Now, in their full-time work, they are earning the average UK salary. As at the time of recording this video, the average UK salary is 35,830. So now write all of this down if you're following me, if you have your pen and paper with me, and as I go on, we'll see how all those figures make sense for what you actually want to earn. So what does it actually cost to run this business? I have a spreadsheet in front of me which I'll read through. As of recording this November 2025, these are actual figures. I've gone to the different businesses, the software platforms to check out what it costs. So this is not theory, this is not random numbers, this is real business. Okay, so let's start with the studio cost. Let's say you're just starting out, you don't have your own studio, so you're having to hire, a studio whenever you want to do a session. Now, because you have, a crunch time to work on your photography business, it means that you're doing the photo shoot on the day and you're also having the clients view the images on the same day. And so let's say you need a studio for 4 hours. And from my research, I can see it costs about £250 for a half day here in London. And if you want to do 8 sessions per month, multiply that by 10 months in a year, that gives us 20,000. So on studio hiring alone, you're spending 20,000 a year. Now let's go to marketing. You want to do 80 sessions, so you're just not going to post organically on Instagram or Facebook and think you're going to get the amount. You have to pay for marketing. And so marketing like Google Ads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever platform you choose. Let's say you're paying 1,500 a month. That comes to 18,000 a year. For makeup, because you're offering a luxury service, you're on the high-end scale, you're offering, something quite good for your clients. Your makeup artists in London charge about 100 to 150 pounds, and so let's just say 100 pounds. Let's go on the lower scale. So 100 pounds, you're doing 8 sessions a month, 80 sessions in the year, that's 8,000 pounds. Now you're running a proper business, you have an accountant. Let's say the accountant is charging you 2,500 pounds. Now, apart from the digital marketing, you also want to go for trade shows, events, exhibitions, other ways to market your business. So for in-person marketing, I've put 2,000 in the year, because that's just supplementing what you do digitally. Now, travel costs. Okay, so you're traveling to and fro from this place. The profile we've built, let's say in London, lots of people don't drive, they take public transport, and I've checked out what the day travel card costs. It costs £12.30, and multiplied by 80 sessions, that's £984. Now, we go on to props, sundries, different things you make to, build your sets and all of that to give a beautiful client experience. I've put that as £1,500. Now, education, you're watching this video, you may buy a guide, you may go on a workshop to improve your skills. You have to budget that into your running cost in a year as a business. Research and development, every business does that. And so for education, I've put 2,000. We're trying to grow and start. You're not going crazy into international workshops just yet. You're just, searching what you can do. CRM for leads. So you're running all these digital marketing paid ads. You need somewhere to funnel your leads through. When I started, I was doing it manually. That is very tough. There are platforms that can help you do that and just make your workflow work better for you. If you're trying to do 80 sessions, you need systems. So the CRM for leads, I've put that down as 1,783 pounds. And then there's also CRM for clients, because when your client books, you then send them a workflow of different emails, touch points, information, and things to help them get prepared for their session. You need another platform to enable you to do that, and I've put that as £240. Now you need business insurance, £300. Flow Desk, which I use, which is your email marketing software to send people on your mail list information and promos and all of that, and that is £313.68. Refreshments, again, you're offering a high-end client, is a 4 hours, 5 hours day, they need a break, they need refreshment. Let's say per client you're spending about £5. If you think about the meal deal, they get a fruit, they get a sandwich, they get a crisp, they get a drink. So 5 times 80 clients is £400. Now Squarespace or any other platform you use for your website, I've put that down. So I checked out Squarespace, one of the lower tiers, £17 times 12 months, that's £288. Now let's go to Adobe. You need to edit your beautiful images. They have a photography plan which I use, and that photography plan comes with Photoshop, Lightroom, Express, which is sort of like Canva to create content and assets and materials, and that is at £19.97 a month. That is £239.64. Now Canva, because we all use Canva, I've put it as 99.99 because that's what it cost. Now Google Cloud, you're gonna save your images and save other things and your drive and your la-di-da-di-da. Over time, it builds up and you no longer can use the free version because you need more space. And so to pay for one of the spaces that allows you to be able to save lots of client images and your business information and data, $79.99. Now, Pixie said, that's what I've researched, is a gallery platform to show your gallery in a beautiful way to your clients, and that is £215.16. Email, now not your email to your subscribers, but email where you can have something like, let's say hello@yourbusinessname.com. Those sort of platforms, you pay for that. It's not usually that expensive. Annually, it's 57.60 pence. Now, ChatGTP, if you're having systems and you're trying to work smarter, you can use this sort of AI platforms to help you when you're creating content, when you want to create other things you need help with. And so that is 179.28 pence. Now, a VPN, you may want to, secure and make sure your system is safe. If you go and work from a workspace, or if you go to a studio, you've hired that studio, you turn on your laptop because you're doing your client viewing or whatever you're using your laptop for, you want to make sure it's a secure system. So you pay for VPN, and annually that's £34.68 pence. Now, I've put a real editor. You're doing all these ads, all this promo, it's a lot for one person who also has a full-time job to be growing this business and also be doing all the social media editing for themselves. So you're paying an editor to edit your reels, your TikTok, things like that. And annually, it's £88.89 pence monthly. And annually that makes it £1,066.68 pence. Now, domain, you've paid for your website, but you also have to pay for your domain, the URL, and that costs money, and that's about £35.98 pence annually. Now, I've also added miscellaneous and things like repairs. Let's say your lens or your camera needs a repair, you need office supplies, you need to package stuff. There are things here and there that always comes up in a business for you to cover. And so I've put a 10% contingency for those sort of miscellaneous things. And so when you calculate all the other costs I've mentioned and give a 10% of it, is £6,031.80 pence. And so altogether, to run your business in an efficient way, it costs £66,350. Can you see? You've not even paid yourself yet. Just to run your business annually as a full-time business, it's costing you £66,350. Let that sink in. And you may wonder, why is it costing so much? Well, I have to say, I haven't even added some things that I myself, as a much more expert professional, running my business. So things like SEO marketing, I pay a company to do that for me. Physical products, I've not even mentioned the products you would offer to your clients, like albums, prints, wall art. All of those costs are not in what I've just explained so far. Retoucher, as you grow your business, you can't be juggling a full-time job as well as doing every single thing yourself. At some point, you start to outsource stuff. So things like retouching is not even included in this price, in this cost. Income protection, again, as an entrepreneur, you have to make sure if unfortunately something happens, you fall ill, you get in an accident and you can't work, you have insurance that would cover you and continue to pay you a salary. And so that's one of the things I also pay for. That's not included in the cost I've listed so far. I didn't even list your business phone, your internet, your product samples. So there are other things that will come as your business grows you can do, but when you're starting off, you can start with the minimum. So literally everything I've mentioned so far is the basics you need to run your business, and that's already costing you over £60,000. So now we have the numbers. We have to then figure out what do we actually need to charge people. If it's costing you £66,350 in order to run your business, and let's say, as we decided, this person we've built a profile for wants to sort of just make up their annual from their full-time work. They want their photography to be able to match that full-time earnings, and so they need to earn £35,830 from their photography business. And so let's go back to my spreadsheet. And so when you add what they want to earn plus the business cost, it gives you £102,180. So you see, when people say, oh, I'm a six figures earners, that doesn't mean six figures is going into your pocket. That simply means your gross revenue from your business is six figures. But when you take out all your business costs, because photography is a costly luxury business, people need to realize this. You can see you're earning only £35,000. But your business, in order for your business to pay you £35,000, the average salary, you're having to make £100+ anyway. So when we also then incorporate that, in the UK there's something called corporation tax. If you're watching this from anywhere else in the world, figure out what that tax is in your country, but in the UK it's 25%. And so when I did the calculation, thanks ChatGPT, it helped me. So when you include the 25% corporation tax, the amount your business needs to make is £118,027. 118027. That's how much your business needs to make in order to pay your business costs, in order to pay your salary, and in order to pay corporation tax. Now remember, in the UK, when you pay yourself a salary, so HMRC is still going to charge you your own personal income tax. So the 35,830 you're even paying yourself is still going to be taxed again. Okay, let's keep going. So now, in order to calculate how much on average you need to charge every client, we have to divide the amount we've gotten by 80 sessions. And so if we say £118,027 divided by 80 sessions in a year, you get £1,000, 475.34. So this means in order to achieve your goal of paying yourself the minimum wage, pay all your business costs, pay your tax, you need to charge on average per session £1,475.34. Now remember, this figure doesn't include the albums, wall art or prints. Those are going to be added on to each of your collections. So you know how much you need to charge on a minimum, and now you go and figure out how much like an album or prints will cost to make at your professional lab, and you add that onto that figures. And this is why when people come to me and they say, oh, why is it so costly? I don't want an album, I just want digitals. Baby, digitals, albums, wall art is still going to be a costly thing, because as we can see, even without the albums, wall art and print cost, you have to, at the bare minimum, charge every client £1,475.34, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to achieve the end goal you want. I hope that's clear. But who starts a business just to earn £35,000? You might as well stay in your full-time job, right? That's not giving you any sort of like financial freedom and like time to indulge in your hobbies and rest. Anyway, so now I'm going to be going through what you need to charge in order to earn 45k, 65k, or even 100k. At 100k, I've sort of gone with the assumption that you're now bringing in maybe like a full-time or a part-time employee. So let's say it's a full-time employee who you also want to pay 35k, and then you also want to pay yourself 65k. So 35 plus 65, that makes 100k. At that point, we're thinking of scaling your business. Now you're running something that can sort of give you room to breathe, give you room to live life, give you room to scale. So anyway, let's start with 45,000. So let's say as a photographer, you want to earn 45,000 and the business cost is 66,350. This means when you consider you're paying 25% tax, the amount your business would need to make is £130,327. And so when you divide that by 80 sessions again, that gives you £1,629 9 pence. So in order for you to earn 45k, you have to on average charge each client £1,600, let's say, if we round that up. So can you see, photography is actually a luxury business. It's not one of those business where you make your products in China for £5 and come to the UK to sell it for thousands and thousands of pounds. It's like, nope, the cost of running my business is actually thousands. And so I need to make that money. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's say you want to pay yourself 65k. That means your business, when you add tax and you add your business cost, that means your business needs to make £157,494. And that means on average, each session, you need to make at least £1,000, 968.68 pence. Now let's go to 100k. You want to make 100k, so not gross, not before tax. 100k, you want to be able to pay yourself 65 and pay someone else 35 who comes to work in your business. When you consider tax, consider your business cost. Your business would need to make 199,683. So in order to pay 100k from your business, and let's say you don't want to pay someone else, you want 100k to go into your own pocket. So that means you're working like a dog. Sorry to say. But yeah, you're almost having to make double of that in order to pay yourself 100k. So if you say you want to earn six figures, you have to make double of that. And so that means on average, each session needs to be charged 2,496.04 pence. So there we have it, we can see. But this is sort of like for portrait photographers, people who do things like family, maternity, newborn, boudoir, lifestyle. So now I'm going to quickly move over to wedding photographers. So with wedding photographers is a bit different, right? Because the way they do their business is quite different. They can't do 80 sessions in a year. And so I did the research to see, what can a photographer do comfortably in terms of like working with their clients, delivering the images, running their business, all of that. On an average, it came to be they can stretch to do about 25 sessions a year. Of course, we know wedding photography takes much more time. So now marketing, you're doing 25 sessions a year. So that means you're not necessarily having to spend as much on marketing. And so for digital marketing, instead of 1.5, I've put 1,000 per month. And so let's say you're spending 12,000 yearly. I'm just going to go through the different costing from what I have explained before, so I'm not repeating myself several times. Accounting still the same, marketing events still the same, travel. Now travel for photographers is different. You're not really buying just a travel card around London or your local city. You're traveling to other places, you have your gear and things, you may drive, you may go with an Uber, all of that. So I've sort of allocated £100 in travel for wedding photographers. So when you multiply that by 25 sessions, that's £2,500 pounds a year. Now education is the same, lead CRM, all of that is the same, business insurance is the same, a lot of things are the same. Let's see, okay, everything else is the same. I guess it's just the marketing, the travel, and the number of sessions that are a bit different for wedding photographers. So in the figures I'm going to go through soon, what is not included is accommodation cost and far travel. Let's say you're going to a different country for like, you know, a destination wedding. I haven't put that cost in here. What else haven't I put? And then the usual, I haven't put products, I haven't put retoucher, I haven't put income protection, I haven't put product samples. So yeah, so now let's go through the figures. I don't want this video to be too long. I think I've sort of simplified it and people watching sort of understand what I've said so far. So let's say a wedding photographer. Now, why should a wedding photographer doing all that hard work want to earn 35k? That's redundant. So I've just gone for figures that make sense. And so for 50,000, let's say you're a modest photographer, you want to live a modest lifestyle, pay your bills, have some money to travel maybe once or twice a year, and live a comfortable life. You're probably single as well, because if you're married and have children, you're definitely wanting to make more than 50k. So anyway, for you to earn 50k, and the business cost for this actually, so what I haven't mentioned is, given the lesser figures for wedding photographers, the cost of running their business is much lower actually. It's 28,803. So yeah, although wedding photographers, it's longer and lots of energy to do the work, their business cost is actually lower. And so if you want to earn 50,000 and the cost to run your business is 28,803, when you incorporate 25% tax, that means your business would have to make 95,470 pounds. And so when we divide that by 25 sessions a year, it means on minimum every client needs to pay you 3,818.80 pence in order for you to reach your goal of paying yourself 50,000. Now let's say 65. If you want to pay yourself 65,000, when we incorporate 25% corporation tax, your business would have to make 115,470 pence, and that means each client on the minimum has to pay you 4,618.80 pence. 100k, you want to pay yourself 100k, your business would have to make 162,137 pounds. And this means every client on the minimum needs to pay you 6,485 pounds 48 pence. So there we have it. There we have it. I just wanted to jump in real quick and say that I understand what I've just explained and what I've just shown you guys. It's like a high-end luxury photographer, but of course not everyone in the market wants to be high-end. Some people want to be premium, some people want to be like budget photographers, and that's totally fine if you feel you're called to place your business in any of these levels. So I'll just say, if you want to charge your clients less than what I've shown it requires to meet your revenue goals, then you basically just have to do more sessions, right? And so that means instead of doing 2 sessions a week, let's say you want to do 4 sessions a week because you're doing this full time and you feel you have enough time. That's fair enough. So that means instead of 8 sessions in a month, if we multiply it by 2, that's 16 sessions in a month. And let's say so that's 16 sessions in a month, and by 10 months, that's 160 sessions in a year. Now, as a single photographer, so you're the only photographer in your studio, you want to have a work-life balance, it's going to be a lot to do 160 sessions. But let's say that's fine for you because you want to be a budget photographer. Then what you simply do is the minimum numbers I've shared so far, you just divide that by 2. And once you divide it by 2, so it means each client will sort of be paying you about 700 and something pounds. Some business operate in that way, and this business tends to be like high turnover studios, which means they don't have the 4 to 5 hours just for one client. It's literally 2 to 3 hours per client, in and out. They have a bigger studio space, they have a number of workers. So literally the clients are on a conveyor belt, one in, one out, one in, one out. Sometimes two, three different people are in the makeup chair at the same time. Your photo shoot is snap, snap, snap. It's not that slow, therapy like, soft like experience. So if you want to do that for your business, that's totally fine. But this video is just to show you the pure factual numbers of what it requires to run a photography business. Now that you understand what each session needs to bring in, it's time for you to create your pricing list so that you can ensure that you're meeting your revenue goals. However, if you need help with this, so you're no longer playing a guessing game, I can definitely help you with it. This is the best time for me to tell you about the incredible pricing guide I've made just for you. It's called Pricing for Profit, the Ultimate Photographer's Pricing Guide. And so included in this guide is 6 done for you pricing list, which have different levels to enable you to earn 45k, 65k, 100k, or even more. And so there are 3 different levels of this done for you pricing lists. We have the first level, which is for like photographers just starting or people who want to relaunch their business. We have a second level, which is for photographers who are already, doing the thing, but they need to price in a way that gives them time, and they also consider the profit. And we have level 3, and this is for photographers who are now established, they're trying to scale, and they want to earn 6 figures and more in their business. And the guides are for portrait photographers such as boudoir photographers, family, newborn, maternity, lifestyle. And then I also have a separate done for you pricing list for wedding photographers as well. The guide also includes a pricing calculator that enables you to customize your pricing list. So once you see the list, and it has a series of videos where I explain lots of things, and you feel like, you know what, I'll also like to make a custom price for myself. Maybe you have a unique revenue goal you want to be able to pay yourself, so the pricing calculator is there for you as well, so you can input all your figures and do something for yourself. But for those of you who would like to stick to my system, the done for you guide is so much it's been done for you in mind. I'm a photographer myself, I use this pricing systems, this pricing psychology, and so it's in there for you. Another thing the guide includes is a series of other videos. So there's a video on pricing psychology, there's a video on explaining every single done for you level and how I've created individual packages, numbers, a la carte menus, digital images. It has all of that. And then there's also a video that talks about how I'm able to charge these thousands of pounds to clients, because let's be honest, it's a lot of money, but photography, as we've just seen, is also a luxury business. And so how do you present your business? How do you present your pricing that avoids ghosting? How do you create a client experience where it's value for value? You're giving your clients so much value that they see it valuable to pay you these thousands of pounds. And so I cover all of this in this guide. It's an amazing guide. I know I'm saying this, but I've put in lots of hard work, lots of thoughts, lots of knowledge, lots of years of experience working in this, working with so many hundreds and hundreds of clients to create this specially for you. So if you'd like to grow a photography business that is not only profitable but also sustainable, then you definitely don't want to miss this guide. It's usually £197, but right now I've discounted it to £37. I don't know how long this will last, so if you're watching this video, I'd say definitely click down in the description box, check out this guide and purchase yours now, because it's gonna go up to the price soon, because it's very valuable. So giving you at the sale price is definitely a steal. Your pricing shouldn't be about competing. It should be about creating a business that works for you. So now that you understand, what to charge, I would advise you take this as an actionable prompt for you to go ahead and start, modifying your pricing list if it currently doesn't work for you. I don't want you to see this video as entertainment. I know that's what social media is supposed to be for, but if you're serious about improving your business right now, if you want to make photography a full-time career and no longer a hobby or no longer like a struggle boss, then you definitely want to check out, how to improve your pricing to make sure you're charging enough to cover your business costs as well as pay yourself annually. If you've purchased the pricing for profit guide, I will see you on the next video where I talk about pricing psychology. If you haven't purchased the guide, you're still on the fence, that's totally fine. There's so much other free content on my channel which you can check out. Perhaps you can check out this one on marketing your business. It would definitely be useful. But until next time, remember, you don't have to be a struggling artist.